Hello and welcome to another edition of Power of the Pen. I am LaWanna Bradford, and I'm excited about today's discussion. We are not going to be featuring a particular book or a particular author, but we're going to talk about the anthology method. And the question is, the anthology method, is it dead? How to rock collaboration. What we are finding is more and more individuals are becoming part of collaborative works in the form of anthologies. And there is nothing wrong with this because it's a way to maximize your reach. It enables you to tie into a shared message, shared cause, shared mission. And it also enables individuals that are budget conscious to pay less to get more. And what do I mean by that? It means because you have a group of individuals coming together for one body of work, then it's a shared cost. And with that shared cost, you get shared exposure and reduced impact to you from a financial or bottom line standpoint. But the question that I have is, of these individuals who are participating in anthologies, and I've been in many anthologies, is it working? What are they doing with it? And how do you rock this collaborative effort? In just a moment, we're going to dig into collaboration when it comes to your anthologies and how you can maximize your reach, your impact, your influence, and ultimately your income. We'll be back shortly. Well, we are back to kind of answer this question. Let's do a deep dive. The anthology method, is it dead? I don't know. Let's unpackage it and you will determine, what do you think? If you've been a part of any sort of collaborative work, think about it. Think about what made you say yes to the opportunity. And the second question is, how have you leveraged that opportunity to open other doors? Did you, in fact, truly collaborate in action, or was it merely a collaboration between the pages, right, from cover to cover? But beyond that, there was no networking, there was no coordination, there was no collaboration with the other authors. And that's typically what happens, unfortunately. We get excited, we're part of a book, and I'm going to show you, I've been a part of several. Here's expert profiles, conversations with influencers and innovators. This was a great collaborative effort for me. I was also part of 31 Ways of Influence. And the books that I'm showing you all received Amazon bestseller status. And because of the work that I did with that, sometimes when you do good work and you have a good relationship with a collaborator, you're invited for part 2. So I was invited to be a part of volume 2 of 31 Ways of Influence, which this time it featured 7 authors, and the other, as you can see, far more than 7. So I actually got more exposure, more reach, more impact with volume 2 because there weren't a lot of voices, right? And that's the other benefit with a collaborative work. It gives you the opportunity to be exposed with diverse voices and perspectives. So it gives the reader some choices when it comes to a particular topic and or collection of topics. The other thing that collaborative books do, believe it or not, we know that the attention span seems to be getting shorter and shorter and shorter because an individual doesn't have to sit and read through volumes. They can go straight to 1 or 2 chapters, get what they need, and move on. So that's the other benefit. And the other one that I was recently in is Raising the Bar, Conversations with Industry Leaders Who Go Above and Beyond for Their Customers. And this is another book. There were 7 of us involved in this. And just a little tip for those of you who are thinking about being a part of an anthology or any sort of collaborative work, I would recommend do so with a book that has no more than 10 authors. And we'll get into why, because when we're talking about how to rock collaboration, when you have 20, 30, 40, perhaps hundreds of authors in a book, unless you have a really tight strategic game plan, collaboration can be a little challenging. So again, this is asking ourselves a question: is the anthology method dead? And how to rock collaboration? Because I believe if you're able to truly rock collaboration, then the method of being published, the method of getting your word out, elevating your message, will work. It's not dead, right? So what typically happens? Typically, we get excited. We're in a collaborative book. Yay. We let folks know there's pre-promotion, there's a book launch, and then crickets. We may take it with us to a couple of our events. We may do some book sales on the side. It may be tied to our website as a little bit of a promotion piece, but really the engine, when it comes to the individuals participating in the collaborative work, at times sort of runs out of gas. Why is that? Why does it seem that collaborators, those that are in the books, they're vested in their message, but the question is, are they really vested in collaborating among the other authors in their shared vision for this particular work? And are they vested in helping to elevate the collaborative work? So again, when we're thinking about that book launch, right, everybody's out there, telling people, rallying around, you got to, go to Amazon, buy this book, buy the Kindle, buy the paperback version, buy the hard copy. You're out there. Everybody's pushing it. Why? Because most are trying to get that Amazon bestseller seal, right? You're trying to get this Amazon bestseller seal because it builds a little credibility, right? Whether you're part of a solo project or individual project, you want to have some sort of a seal of recognition. So that's where we find people have this huge, huge push. But then it sort of peters out, right? What happens? Why aren't we building on that momentum? I've been guilty of it, but then I've also benefited from tapping into the other authors and finding out how we could collaborate. And that's why I lifted up these particular books. And yes, I am doing shameless marketing promotion. So the two volumes of 31 Ways of Influence, Dr. Duranche is the one who was the collaborator, that individual who's orchestrating all of these authors together. And the purpose of this is, it says the tools of the Proverbs 31 woman to successfully impact nations. So the plan was, not only did she have us participate and provide our written work that supported the overall mission, but the goal was to create outreach, both within the U.S. and on the African continent. And it was exciting to see some of the authors going and traveling with her to Africa, being involved in pop-up venues. It also tied to award ceremonies. So there was other things that this particular collaborator, Dr. Duranche, was doing to help fuel the momentum of this particular project. But the question is, did everyone further feed into that momentum, or did it kind of, again, run out of gas, run out of steam? The other one that I mentioned, Expert Profiles, this actually is volume 11, Conversations with Influencers and Innovators. And it is leading experts share strategies for overcoming obstacles and achieving success in business and in life. And there I am as one of the featured authors on the cover. And the one thing I love is on the back, John Maxwell states, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So I kind of look at that individual who orchestrated this project, this collaborator, who got other authors together, is sort of leading this mission, this cause, right? There's a reason why this compilation exist? Well, the question is, if you're part of things like this, do you understand the overarching why? And then how are you tapping into that why to expand your reach, your influence, your impact, and ultimately your income? And that was done by the collaborators, Dr. Tamara Patzer. And this is the other book by collaboration work by Dr. Tamara Patzer. And the reason why I bring these up of the collaborations that I've been a part of is one was almost 6 years ago to the most recent last year. And in that course of being a part of it, I was able to develop very strong business relationships with these two collaborators. And through that, it enabled me to expand my reach, look at how I wanted to position certain messages, partner with them on other initiatives, and they in turn help to elevate my personal brand and my message. So again, when we're thinking about the power of collaboration and how to rock collaboration, it first starts with having a conversation. Power of the Pen is about taking your idea and crafting it in a written and spoken word. But often, again, individuals stop right there. I've written a book, check, and maybe that was your desire, just to check it off. Or be a part of something to say, yes, I was part of a book, check. I got a bestseller status, check. I can now use the title author on my credentials, check. But if you want to go beyond that, if you really want to see the impact that you can have, and ultimately the income, it's going to require collaboration, right? Because this wasn't a solo project to begin with. So if you're looking at elevating this collaborative work, this anthology, what about partnering with other authors? I was talking to one individual, it was quite funny, and I asked her, because she's been in many collaborative books as well, and I said, of your collaborations, I said, I'm just curious, how many have you read from cover to cover? And she's like, oh my gosh, I haven't read any. And I thought, okay, you have this book, you're marketing and promoting this book, but you haven't read anyone else's contributions but your own. And she goes, well, no, I'm not really interested in reading what other people wrote. And I thought, wow, how many individuals might be doing this for, again, a self-serving purpose? Again, you're part of a collective, you're part of an anthology, you're part of a community, but it's really not about anyone else. It's all about you. So you're not, again, feeding into the benefits that you could get if you had a shared mindset, shared goals, shared objectives. And I thought that was a very sad commentary, but I thought, wow, it's probably not uncommon that many individuals, again, they jump on the bandwagon. I'm part of this collaborative book, but when it comes to actually marketing and promoting and actually having conversations with other people to see how we might work together, that could be missing. We'll be right back. One of the things is with Power of the Pen, if you are interested in being in on one of our episodes, it could be a book that you've written. You may be an author with an upcoming book. You may be a resource that provides services for authors. Perhaps you're a publisher, perhaps you're a publicist. If you're an individual who just has a book that has transformed your life in some way and you want it to be featured on this, on Power of the Pen, we would love to have you. In fact, I'm going to put the information below. You can email me directly at LaWanna@BradfordGroupMTG.com or info@BradfordGroupMTG.com or call 678-428-5589. Let's have a conversation and see what we can do to get you, your book, or a book that has inspired you featured on Power of the Pen. Can you believe we are in our 6th year of this show? It's just great. I want to thank all of you for following us over the years, especially our E360 TV community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's our home, and we enjoy streaming to social media as well. So let's talk about, for you who are an author, who are part of a collaborative work, or maybe thinking about being a part of a collaborative work, how can you maximize your participation? Well, there's 5 things that I want to go over. And 3, I'm going to unpackage just a little bit. 2, I'm just going to name them because we just don't have that much time to do a deep dive. But the first thing you can do is brand building. Brand building. When you're thinking about your personal brand, your key message, your key so what factor that you want to get out in the world. And if that is what you've used as part of your platform in this book, in the collaborative work, then you want to look at how can you better leverage it to position yourself to get more exposure, right? So that's one thing that it enables you to do. One of the things that I've done in all of my collaborative books, because my background, and this is just an example, is in strategy and performance management. So as a certified strategic planner, I've done it for over 30 years for billion-dollar corporations, for government agencies, for small businesses. I am the SME. I am the subject matter expert in this. Well, how can I translate all of that experience into an interesting story so that people can lean in, especially the entrepreneurs, to learn from the stories that I've set in a strategic framework in order for them to go that much farther, faster, right? They're learning from my mistakes. They're understanding how to create opportunity in the chaos, how to translate or transform those stumbling blocks into stepping stones. So every single chapter that I've ever written in a collaborative book all tie back to my place of genius, my zone of genius, which is having that strategic lens. And that's how I approach business, and that's how I approach life. So that's one of the things that you can do if your brand, if you're looking at branding your personal brand, what is that key central message that you anchor yourself to? And this is a way that you're able to, again, expand the reach and the understanding and even the introduction of that brand. One of the things that I was challenged with a couple years ago is one of my coaches said, LaWanna, we see you, we hear you, we know what your company does, we hear the Bradford Group or the Bradford Group Consulting, but who are you? And I thought, that is the silliest question. You know who I am. But it was his way of saying, we hear your company brand, but what is your personal brand? And I was on a mission over the last 2 years to really work on crafting that personal brand, and not realizing until I went back to some of this written work that it was already there. I was already very consistent in how I was messaging certain things. Now, again, the stories are very different that I use in all of these books because the books had different angles in them, but the foundation was the same. And that's when I realized the brand from behind the brand was born. I had to come out from behind the brand of the Bradford Group and the Bradford Group Consulting and show the world LaWanna Bradford. So that's one of the examples. The other thing that you can do, so we're talking about branding and brand recognition. The other thing that you can get from being a part of a collaborative book and or an anthology and how to rock collaboration is it provides recognition. Because what you're doing is now you have a shared platform. So all of these individuals have their respective lanes of influence, right? Not just the collaborator, not just the person who brought it all together, but each individual, whether it's the 7, the 10, the 20, the 100, however many are part of this book, everyone has their sphere of influence. Now imagine if you started having strategic conversations with everyone and finding out how could we help each other to gain more recognition beyond the scope of the book launch, beyond the scope of the promotion pre and post that the collaborator is going to do. How can we collectively collaborate to enhance our recognition, enhance our exposure? The third thing is partnerships, strategic partnerships. So I gave you the example where I had a conversation and this individual had not read the book. So if you haven't read the book, it's a little difficult to tap another author who's in the book on the shoulder to say, hey, let's collaborate, when you don't even know anything about them or what they've written. Because typically in a collaborative book, at the back, there will be a picture of the author and their bio. So it's a real easy way for you to find out, is there some synergy there between you and other authors to create a very warm and engaging conversation, even if you've never had a conversation before. And that begins the framework of building those strategic partnerships. Perhaps an individual is going to have a conference and they're looking for speakers. Well, if you've had this conversation and they like the message that you are presenting in a book, that may be an opportunity to present on that person's stage and vice versa. So there can be an exchange going on between the two of you. Also, those partnerships help you to know other things that are going on in the author environment, right? I may hear of other opportunities that I want to share with my strategic partner and vice versa. So again, it's so important to not be that island, not say, okay, I'm part of this collaborative book. It was all about me. I don't really care about the purpose of the collaboration. I really don't care about the collaborator or anyone else in the book because I didn't care enough to read the book. I just want to try to get people to buy my book. And I want to be able to say, check, I'm an author and I'm a best-selling author. Not really the best strategy. And in that case, for you, the anthology method may be dead because you're not able to use it in a way to generate the best results, to maximize the best and highest return that you could get. I'm going to do a quick breakaway and we will be right back.
Power of the Pen with LaWanna Bradford, expanding the impact and influence of authors from around the world. If you want to change the world, pick up your pen and write, said Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Books are uniquely portable magic. Power of the Pen spotlights authors from around the world. Listen as authors share messages that educate, motivate, inspire, and entertain. Join us each Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern on e360tv.com.
Welcome back to Power of the Pen, and we are here talking about, is the anthology method dead and how to rock collaboration? If you want to be a guest on Power of the Pen, if you have a book that you've written, an upcoming book, if you're an author who has just made some incredible strides in what you're doing and your message that's out there and you want to share it with the world, or perhaps you're a reader that has been inspired, motivated, and transformed by a particular work that you'd like to share, please reach out to us. You can email me at LaWanna@BradfordGroupMTG.com. It's below, or info@BradfordGroupMTG.com, or you can call us directly at 678-428-5589, 678-428-5589. We'd love to have a conversation and see if we might be able to get you ready for the 2025 lineup. So we've talked about 3 of the 5 areas of how you can rock collaboration. The first is it enables you to build your brand. And when we're talking about your brand, your personal brand. Number 2, it enables you to have recognition in different lanes, perhaps in different communities, different groups that might otherwise not have even known you existed. Number 3, collaboration through the anthology helps to build credibility. Unless you read these bios, you are not going to know the rich brilliance of this community that you are part of. Again, an anthology is not about me, myself, and I. It is a we project. So take your time. Maybe you don't want to read everyone's chapter. Okay, well, why don't you take the time to introduce yourself to the other authors who participated in this particular project? You might be amazed at who you're sharing this book with, this book space with. Now, the last two things, and again, we're not going to go deep into it, but it's something to think about. You have this book. It's a great book. You're excited about the book. This book can also serve as an introduction. So it's like the next level business card. How can you use this to introduce who you are in a way that causes people to lean in, to get you noticed more? Do you hand out the book? Do you give an excerpt of the book? Do you provide a write-up about the book? Was there a press release done on this book? There are different ways that you can use to create those lanes of introduction. One of the things is because of this book here, my expert profiles, an organization saw it. They saw the press release. They got the book. They read my chapter. And then I was invited to be a part of the Asian African Chamber of Commerce. And let's see if I can reach this. And then I received, yes, I'm boasting on myself, I'm not making it up. I received this nice little trophy in 2024 from the Club Mumbai, India, the Achievers of Asia, Africa. And I received this amazing write-up and press release as being a part of the chamber. And again, it was because this opened up the door where I was recognized and seen by an organization that honestly I didn't even know existed, and then met with some great individuals, was part of their major launch of their collector's edition, which spotlighted entrepreneurs from around the world, of which I was one of. And again, I received this wonderful little trophy. So those are types of things when we're talking about the introduction. You may not actually be the one knocking on the door saying, hi, I am, and by the way, here's my book, and read it. But the way it was marketed and promoted, post-marketing, post-promotion, how you have been featured on different platforms in different ways can open up a door of opportunity for conversation, for deeper engagement, for building that trust, and then identifying how what you do may connect with a mission outside of the scope of the book. And in my case, I became part of this great organization that, again, I didn't know that existed, but it enabled me to now tap in and to connect with other individuals who are doing similar work, but on the continents of Asia and Africa. How exciting is that? So again, there's a way that you can rock collaboration with your book. And the fifth and final thing is monetization, right? We don't just want that collaborator, that person who put it all together to be the only one getting paid. And we don't want to just sell out of our trunk, right? Or at an event. How do we really monetize the message, right? So the question is, are you trying to monetize the book, or are you trying to monetize the message? Because there are two different things. You can monetize the book. So whatever the going rate is, then you can sell it for that. Or you can monetize the message, and suddenly what you may have sold for $10.99, now you're selling it for $1,000, $1,900, $5,000. again, the book versus the message, and then looking at which audience does this relate to? What problem does it solve? How can you create that connection where you're building trust and engagement so that you're able to increase your impact, your influence, and your income? And what I do is I help authors in collaborative books to do just that, to go beyond increasing your visibility, but visibility with results. I can be seen and heard all day long, but not get the results that I want, right? Not increase my impact or my influence or my income. So it's helping you to design a strategy and an approach to get you there, connecting you with the right resources, whether it's from a publicist standpoint, being published in magazines, connecting you with the right individuals of influence that can open other doors for you. That's what we do. That's what our team does at TBG Media Group. And that's what I love, because I'm doing the same thing. I was an author in numerous collaborative books, and I thought, okay, I've got these books on my shelf. How am I using it? How am I maximizing it? And from this came one of my signature talks, which is the R3 system, which is all about refocus, reframe, and reconnect. And I'm so excited because a year ago, I was able to it was in October 2023. I debuted that at Michigan State University as part of the Leadership Experience Tour. And then a year ago at the Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, I had the opportunity to be interviewed by numerous media outlets on Media Row talking about the R3 system, which is all based in all of my books. But I teased it out. I took all of this, teased it out, and said, okay, let me put it under a system so that I can now teach and instruct and guide people on how to remain relevant in an ever-changing marketplace. So that's the pain point that I deal with, is individuals are trying to figure out, how do I keep this ball rolling? Things are changing so quickly. What do I do? How do I navigate? How do I find opportunity in the chaos? How do I transform those stumbling blocks into stepping stones? How do I remain relevant? I don't want to be obsolete. And that's what I teach. And that's what, through my writings, I have been able to, in a storytelling format, share little teasers about refocusing, reframing, and reconnecting. And now I've translated that into business analytics and business programs for that small business owner and the corporate and your C-suite and executive leaderships, to help them to realize that the one thing that is constant, right, is change. So how do you navigate change? How do you position and posture yourself? How do you identify your strengths and continue to be that iron sharpening iron as you navigate your way? That's what I do. That's what my message is. And I know all of you who have been in collaborative books or are thinking about being in collaborative books, you have a central message. You probably have a central theme that you talk about over and over again. And that's one of the things that we do, is help you to unpackage that so that you can really create impact, influence, and income, that you can go beyond the bestseller. How do you monetize beyond the bestseller? And I'm excited because as part of season 6, we're going to have Dr. Tamara Patzer here in the house, who is my publicist and was also the collaborator of these 2 books. We will have her in the house, and she's going to talk about some of the work that she does with authors and how you might be able to tap into what her team is doing, what Blue Ocean Authority is doing, to help individuals maximize their reach and go beyond the bestseller status. Because keep in mind, you can focus on selling the book and get $10.99, $10.99, $10.99, or you can focus on selling the message. You can focus on being that independent solo, me, myself, and I, and have an island approach, right? No man is an island. Or you can say, no, I'm part of this great collective of individuals who have chosen at this space and time to put their shared works in this book that I'm a part of. How can I work with them? What can we possibly do together to complement one another, to help elevate one another? So I don't think personally that the anthology method is dead. I think it's only dead when you don't feed it, when you don't take care of it, right? But when you do, when you nurture it, when you give it sunshine, when you're loving on it, then it can grow, it can blossom, it can give you results that you could not yet imagine. But it requires you to buy into what it is that you said you're a part of, to speak out, and to engage and collaborate one with another. You never know what's on the other side of collaboration, but you have to be willing to step outside of the book to do so. Well, it has been a pleasure being with you on Power of the Pen, and I look forward to seeing you next week at 2 p.m. Eastern. Be safe, be well. Until next time, bye for now.